Okay, so today we're doing a little bit of a theory type video. Basically, we're talking about the timeline for Five Nights at Candy's. And, if you haven't heard of Five Nights at Candy's, then, let me just quickly explain it. So, Five Nights at Candy's is a Five Nights at Freddy's fan game made by, Emil Mako, and, yeah. Basically, it's pretty cool, characters are great, the story is great, and yeah. Alright, now that you know what it is, let's start the timeline. So keep in mind, since this is my first video type like this, there are bound to be some mistakes. I still am learning my brand new editing software, so be gentle, please. Alright, let's get on to the timeline. Like most stories, this one starts with a drunk rat. That sounds weird, but it's actually just like a guy in a rat costume that came to work drunk. I don't know. I don't work there. I'd probably fire him if I were the manager. Anyway, spoiler alert, he ends up dying, and so does the cat. Speaking of the cat, yeah. He tries to call the police, but the puppeteer strangles him. So, aren't we off to a great start? And unbeknownst to the puppeteer and the cat, the little child named Mary Schmidt, is, well, in a cupboard in the staff-only room. I don't know why she goes in there, but she does. Anyway, so after months of trauma and therapy and fighting off these things, you see that Mary has made a full recovery and, then lives a somewhat normal life, besides the fact that she saw 2 people get murdered. Okay, moving on to Five Nights at Candy's. So this takes place about, I wanna say, 20 years after Five Nights at Candy's 3, which took place 1962. That's the year. Anyway, after Mary Schmidt gets older and decides she's gonna get a job, she goes to the only place that makes sense. The place related to Rat and Cat Theater where she had so much trauma. Or maybe she didn't know it at the time. No one really knows. Or maybe she did and she just wanted to do something. I don't know. Or maybe she was bet. We won't really know unless the creator's like, hey, she was bet to apply here and she got the job. But until then, we won't know. Anyway, so after she applies for the job for whatever reason, she survives all 5 nights. And then she collects her check for, I want to say, $200, but you'll have to forgive me if that's wrong, because I'm recording this before I do the editing, which just moving pictures on the screen, so I don't actually know. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. So after this, we go to Five Nights at Candy's 2. The last game in our timeline, technically, until Five Nights at Candy's 4 comes out. But that's not going to be for at least another year. So, what happens in Five Nights at Candy's 2? Mary's daughter, Marilyn Schmidt, gets dared by her friends to spend 5 whole nights in an abandoned Candy's warehouse. And, through some peer pressure and maybe a little bit of manipulation, by saying, you're a chicken if you don't. So after being pressured, she's just like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And then she goes. And then she has to deal with these animatronics. Aren't they so lovely? Anyway, so these are the animatronics we saw in Five Nights at Candy's 1. But if you don't know, I'm going to give you a quick recap. There's Blank, Cindy, Candy, Chester, and, well, the Penguin. And through either sheer coincidence or just being lucky, she survives all 5 nights and some bonus nights, and then burns the factory to the ground. Speaking of the factory, that's a key point of interest in the story, which we will now talk about. And if you've already played the games and you're wondering, why didn't you put this with Five Nights at Candy's 1? Well, first of all, quiet your face. Second of all, I forgot. Anyway, so the factory is an important part of the story. It's where the ghost of the rat, and he wakes up and gets control of the body and cuts off the camera feed, where he proceeds to do unspeakable things like murder 2 children. Yeah, this is a FNAC fan game, so what are you expecting? Anyway, after he does that, there's a crime scene at the factory that gets cleaned up, and the next time we see those cameras is, shock of all shocks, when Candy and Cindy are on the conveyor belt. They look over at us, or the camera, and then the screen cuts off. And basically, that's the timeline of Five Nights at Candy's. A lot of death, a lot of murder, and a lot of fun gameplay. That's all I have to say. Thank you for watching. Okay, bye-bye now.